Everybody, welcome to the show. Dun, 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 dun. I need to make me a jingle or something. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Valerie, Sunny, Doug, Rob, Logan, Rose, City Trucks, Michael, Lynn, Doris, Michael, Lynn, and Doris, John, Penny, Rosalind, Craig, Francois, Ivan. Welcome everybody to the show. And it's 30 minutes of awesome. So this is the request show, the one time a week that I do requests for at least 30 minutes. Gotta wait till I get there. Welcome, Edward. And we'll get there in just a few minutes. Welcome, Tara. And welcome to the show. Anybody surprised by today's action? Not me. Not me at all. It was kind of blasé, if you will. And before we get going anywhere, we're going to talk about NVIDIA, FOMC minutes that are due out, tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow, 2 p.m. And we'll do 30 minutes of your request, but hold off on those until I'm ready. I don't want anybody's request to get lost in the chat. So wait for those. I'll give you the rules before we get there. And welcome to the show. So all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. That means just because I say it might happen doesn't mean it's gonna happen. And just because I got it right in the past doesn't mean I'll ever get it right in the future, which kind of sucks because that's what I do. But, hey, this presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. So no stocks, no options, no bonds, no forex, no futures, no cryptos, no treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. All right, don't trade stuff because, look, 50-50 odds, all things being equal. There's a buyer, there's a seller, there's a winner, there's a loser. Every single trade. 50-50 odds, you're on the wrong side of it, right? No matter which one you do. And if you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor because that's not what I'm doing at all. Kimberly in the chat, my favorite subscriber. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, welcome, everybody. All right. Joseph Don, Kimberly, Jason, Ted, and Arthur. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, as I said, NVIDIA earnings this week. This could be a make it or break it moment in the market after the close tomorrow. Dun, 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 dun. We have Target here first thing in the morning. So we got NVIDIA coming up. We got TJX in the morning. We've got Toll Brothers this afternoon. Modine, Viasat, Urban Outfitters, Alvotech, Skyline Champion, XP Inc. So Elf Beauty coming in tomorrow. Snowflake, Synopsys, Starbulk, LiveRamp, SQM, and the rest of the week's kind of relatively benign after that. Polestar over here, and BJ's. My kids were fascinated with how many electric car companies there are that they've never hardly heard of. It was a funny conversation, or it's been an ongoing kind of funny conversation. Like, what other car companies are there? You can go through different ones each night. They're like, I've never seen one of those cars. And it's like, yeah, me neither. I guess Rivians and Teslas, maybe a Hummer here and there. That's about the only things we see around here. So anyway, welcome to the show. So what do we think on NVIDIA? I'll have to go through the chart here in a minute, but that is coming. Now, FOMC minutes tomorrow before that happens. And well, based on the way the market's been kind of acting irrationally and kind of reacting funny to things that we should already know, I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. We could get a sudden pullback. We could also get a sudden pop because we've left the market in a position where it's a precarious position. Right here, we keep slamming on resistance. Today we did close above that resistance where we've been hanging for 4 days, but we didn't make a higher high. Pushed up, but didn't make a higher high. That's resistance just above us. We're just kind of grinding into it at this point. So where's the bigger, easier move at this point? Down. Down, down, down. That's why I would be very cautious on what might happen tomorrow. Very, very cautious on FOMC minutes and on NVIDIA right here. So NVIDIA also almost the same kind of pattern the S&P has, except for for one key difference is that we have not made a higher high. We're grinding it right here where, funny enough, this initial move up, oh, moving the wrong thing. This initial move up off this low right here in April, this initial move up and this secondary move up are basically at parity right here. See this right here? This red line is where that's parity, and we're just kind of sitting there, sitting right at that resistance. Yeah, sure, we poked through, but they're fuzzy zones, remember. You know, even though it's kind of, you know, echoes aren't perfectly the same. Like when you get an echo back, it's not exactly the same as when you set it. And when you echo and you carry it back as echo, it's slightly different. So these are never exactly the same, but that vicinity right there does put it in a danger zone for a bigger pullback. That can take us right down to here. And if we don't stop at the roadmap line, the daily roadmap line that is, well, NVIDIA could do something more sinister and more bigger to the downside. And I said double negatives and, you know, horrible English, but we can see that pull back. So we could also very easily, if they outperform and out and support, you know, announce some got zillions of dollars of somebody else buying tons of GPUs, you know, we could pop on up, go be the biggest company in the land, up here 1250 to 1300, and then we'll see what happens. If we do that, we're probably going to get a giant pullback on NVIDIA, and it could take the whole market down, just like we saw Cisco back in the .com bust. All right, this could be very well, we could refer to this as the AI bust at some point. I think eventually we're going to have overcapacity on these companies that buy too much AI GPUs. Now, is that now or is that later? Is it, you know, is there a surprise contender pops on the market and has some GPU that beats NVIDIA? I don't know. We'll see what the actual story is, but I don't think that NVIDIA's got like a moat dug around what they're doing. You know, sure, they've done pretty good, but there's other players in the game right now, and you know, NVIDIA may be the king, but everybody's gunning for the king. So be careful out there on that, is what I have to say. Like, nothing's definitive. I don't care what anybody says about it. You know, NVIDIA is going to be the biggest company in the land. I mean, right now it's the fourth largest asset in the world. And if we pop up to that $1,300 area, we're going to be up here contending with Microsoft for the biggest company in the land. You know, Apple's sitting here, not a distant third place or second place company-wise. I mean, we've got gold, the largest asset in the land, right up here, dwarfing everything with the $16 trillion market cap. But that's another story. And, you know, Bitcoin hanging out right here, 1.3 trillion. Silver pulled ahead a little bit from where Bitcoin was. You know, Bitcoin was above silver when it was in this vicinity just a few months ago, but silver pulled ahead. Kind of widely been speculating a $35 an ounce price on silver for a while, and we could see a $3,000 to $5,000 price on gold, which would put it way on up there in the many more trillions of dollars. Not too shabby. Anyway, all right, now moving on to actual charts. What's happening? I'll get back to the chat here in a minute and take the requests. Just a minute, though. Just a minute. Why did SMCI hit? Well, it's about, so you can't go by stock prices. You have to go by market cap. And SMCI is a way smaller company, right? So you look at the financials here. Market cap's only 52 billion, right? So share prices are not share price. You know, the share price of one company is not just equal. Like $100 price on Apple is not the same as $100 price on Google, is not a $100 price on SMCI. They have a number of shares available right here. So it really depends on the number of shares outstanding and the share price. That combines together to give you a market cap. So you can compare market caps, but you can't really compare share prices among companies. So SMCI, 52 billion market cap, but then we look at NVIDIA and we have trillions of dollars. When we look at the NVIDIA market cap right here, $2.38 trillion. So yeah, how many times is that bigger? It's at least it's pretty close to 5 times bigger than SMCI. So you have 2.5 billion shares available here, but SMCI only has 58 million. All right, so don't get confused. People get confused all the time on number of share. Market cap is what you can compare. You can't compare share prices. So that's very rarely will you see two companies with the exact same number of shares out there. Anyway, bum, 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 bum. And we got a nice strong close on ES. Nice rally into the finish. That was the S&P 500. Then chopping around after the market closed a little bit. Look at that big rejection tail. Went for a second attempt, and I don't know. Could be the top. This is interesting here, where it's the third lower high in a row on the futures, but the cash index, a little different story. Although once, twice, is that a triple top? You tell me. You tell me. Is that a triple top? I don't know. It's definitely curious right there. Definitely hitting the head. Not breaking through. Although we got a strong close. When you look at the daily candle, it did not break through. Indeed. So in Q right here, also a nice strong close, but also curious, like not really pushing ahead, still sitting there at that resistance. Makes me cautious. And then Russell over here still not showing any kind of strength. It was pretty flat all day. This one was pretty much dead after the open. Like we got a little flash right at the open and then just kind of sat there all day. Didn't really do anything. Didn't really pop, didn't really drop. Stayed in a pretty tight range. Just right there. And what was that? $5 range, which is crazy. 50-cent range on IWM, basically. Just sit there consolidating all day long. Not the kind of price action where you can really do anything and make any kind of money. So oil right there. And I should probably flip over to the red list instead of the morning list. Oil kind of a little bit bearish in the micro time frame is what I would say. And when we look at the daily, we dropped down and rejected off of the support. We dropped down the support, pop back up, but closed the day red. So we opened here, we had dropped all the way down here and ended up closing right in here, right in the middle of the consolidation. As I said this morning, right up here is resistance, right down here is support, and as long as we're in between, we can stay in between, and that's why there's a giant arrow right there, staying in between. This candle did touch right there all the way down. That's why it's highlighted. We did touch that support. That's indicative that we made the bottom, but it's not confirmation until we break resistance. So it's an initial indicator, but it doesn't have me tilted long or short yet until we break out of this consolidation. Brent is just consolidating right in between the roadmap line and this extension right here. And this is much more clear to me. This move down, first move down here, right like this. And this move down right here, basically at equality. It's like the echo I was talking about a minute ago. It's right there in the market. And we're just sitting right there on support, pinned right under that tight resistance right against us. We pop, we once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Just keep ping-ponging between them. One of these times, one of them is going to break. And is it up or is it down? This is a 3-wave correction so far. That would be indicative that we get continuation higher, but this whole move up so far was very overlapping and calls into question whether this is a new trend or not. So time's got to tell there. Nothing overly clear. That's why I'm not really big into oil, and I'm not talking about, like, I'm not sitting here beating the drum like this is my target and I'm going long and I'm still long, and it's unclear at the moment which way that's going to do. It was looking pretty good, and then we've done this correction and it's muddied it up. Gasoline has come back to the roadmap line if this holds and bounces. Now it could go a little deeper and still hold support here, but if this holds and bounces right in here, we could see prices pop up in here. 331 up to 354, and that's wholesale prices, not at the pump prices for gasoline. So that could be pretty rough. You know, we were rallying up in here, we saw 50, 60 cent pops in the price of gasoline. If we rally up here, it's going to be pretty rough pretty quick. Diesel prices still in the bargain basement here, but again, that's kind of a correct, an echo off of that little piece right there. It is a lower low than what we had here, but it's still a higher low than what we had here. So is this a whole big correction, or is this something else playing out? Yet another unclear chart. Right now, the bias is down. We should go lower, but I don't know. Right now, the freight industry is battling it out. They're undercutting each other. Freight demand is quite low, and people are undercutting each other just to be able to drive the trucks. Even though they may lose money on the truckload, they're undercutting each other just to keep the jobs, just to keep the money flowing. And if there's a sudden spike in demand, even with all these companies that are going out of business, like Yellow went out of business, there's supply of trucking disappearing out of the market. So, supply as a service, trucking as a service. So there's this supply disappearing out of the market. And if we get a demand spike somehow, some way, all of a sudden these companies that have been bidding down the work, going lower, they're going to start abandoning those loads. And then that's going to cause all sorts of problems through the economy when loads don't move. And there's not enough trucking to move the loads. So, right now everything seems like it's hunky-dory good, but, when we look at the Russell chart over here, it's not showing hunky-dory good, because this is where 85% of the population works, and we're not making all-time highs here. Not at all, not by a long stretch. So there's definitely an interesting story playing out here where demand for diesel is low, not really pushing prices higher at all. We could see a nice big spike and then a strong reversal off of that. Natural gas here has gone a lot higher than I expected to, actually, but we're still cooking a downtrend here. Didn't really expect it to pop up this high. If we break above this, say, $3 area right in here, we're probably set up to rally on up to 420. At least $4, if not 420. So that's something to watch out for on natural gas right there. I do have a long UNG that I've held for. I've got long UNG shares I've held for, bottom back over here somewhere. Just been sitting on them for a long time and waiting for a bottom and a reversal. But it definitely looked like it was going to go lower. But now we're sitting here. We could glance off of that and go lower. So it's just the initial sign. It's being stronger than I thought, but we're still in that downtrend. Still nothing changed. Gold here. I thought it looked like it was going to rip earlier, but everything started getting weak, showing some weakness today. Like we're going to have to go down a time frame here. So we were looking strong yesterday, bounced off the roadmap line here on the 30-minute, came up right there about 10:30. I thought we were going to bust out and go higher. Came up, made a lower high than we did right there yesterday. Lower high than this high right here. And that kind of starts tilting the odds that we're going to be a little weaker here. So Caution on gold. Silver, I still have a $35 target, and we're just keep banging our head right here. A nice quick pop would put it right up in the target at 35. And that could go fast. And then we'll probably get a bigger, deeper correction off of this. That'll correct out this whole big move up. But this looks like a last consolidation before we get that final pop. So watch out. And if we get that 35, probably be opportunity to step off of silver for a little bit if you've been long. I know my one silver position is up like 7,000%, some ridiculous 1,000%. It was a synthetic long. Copper is sitting here on a potential breakout, but it's not getting any continuation. I mean, that was like softening up, softening up, softening up. This is kind of what the S&P was doing too. Makes me really cautious that we could see, even though we've made a higher high here, we could roll pretty viciously on copper. It was almost a squeeze in metals there. So the yellow line is called the roadmap line. I have link in the description if you want to get the masterclass and everything on it. I have a video back in the history of the channel, live stream, like it's probably 2 Decembers back, where I gave out the code and everything for free. If you're a DIYer, if you just want to pay $5 and get the easy button, links in the description. Just click the more button. I call it the roadmap line, and price tends to bounce. It's like a support resistance line. So it tends to bounce and then go higher, and then no support whatsoever, just crushed right through, came back up, found resistance. That tilts the odds we're going to go down even further on lumber. And let's hit Bitcoin. Showed a little retrace today after the strength yesterday. Came up, found resistance right at these prior highs. Caution is advised right there. Look at that. Look at that. If we can break above that, probably going on higher. You see how we held the roadmap line right there? Support. The system goes like this. You go draw your fib from the high down. Ideally, it will touch the roadmap line. This one, different time frame. But when we break above the 618, we become like 70% likely we're going to go cruising on up. I actually have a thing right here, 81% likely on Bitcoin that will reach that purple line, which is the 1.1448, which is 90% of the way to the 1272. 1272 is actually the target, but these are fuzzy zones. And since everybody can draw the same zones, you know, sometimes they go lower, sometimes they go higher. I stay on the conservative side when I'm doing the statistics here. So there you go. It is 81% likely we're going to hit that target, but it didn't actually trigger the trade, as you can see, because we didn't actually touch the roadmap line on the daily chart. So caveats all around. Might not work this time because, well, it didn't actually meet all the criteria that I needed to trigger that trade. And Ethereum. Big news here is on the 23rd, right here, Thursday, we have the potential for this spot ETFs to get approved. For the spot ETFs to get approved. What spot ETFs might you say? Right here. VanEck has their deadline on Thursday. ARK has their deadline. This is the SEC final deadline on Friday. And then Hashdex has theirs coming up on the 30th, which is about 9 days away. So next Thursday. And then Grayscale has there's a conversion. EHTE will convert from, you know, what they have now to an actual spot ETF, and that would take place on the 18th of next month as the final deadline. Now, it could be like the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and they just approve everybody at the same time, no matter what your deadline is. You know, the first deadline, they just blanket approve everybody. Entirely possible, especially since you got BlackRock, king of the land here with retirement money, all the way out there to August. And they're kind of they're the laggard in the set here. So, all right, there you go. That's Ethereum for you. So the rules of the requests are like so. I need you to type in all capitals. And if you're requesting something like a crypto, I need you like ETH and add the USD all in one ticker. Don't separate it. Don't slash it. Don't anything. Just, Ethereum US dollars. That way I can type it in and look it up quickly. A lot of people are going to throw stuff at me. And one ticker per person, per request. All right. You got to wait for at least 1 to 2 people to go. Wait for two ideally, and give it a couple minutes. And if, nobody's gone, you can go again. I'll go and I'll keep doing this until I'm either tired of doing it, or I'm hungry, thirsty, got to go to the bathroom, whatever it is. I'll go. It'll be at least 30 minutes. I'll try to get everybody. All right. So that's the rules. TMF, type on the right. And that looks pretty bearish. That's a leveraged ETF, and leverage is not always long. So be careful on leverage. And BitX is just leveraged Bitcoin, so it's stuck at the resistance right there, rejecting. If you believe the patterns work, but they don't always work on leverage, so I caution you again on leverage. Leverage stuff, there's 4 things that don't really work on my patterns. Like, I can predict it, but it may or may not work. It's just basically rolling the dice, flipping a coin. Low price stuff, under $10. Leverage stuff, anything with a 2x, 3x, whatever x leverage, doesn't always work. Sometimes, most of the time, I can't even say it. Most of the time it works. Like, it's just like 50-50. China stuff, and then biotech, pharma, med tech, anything the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration of the United States, is involved in. That's the 4th thing. So you got low price stuff, leverage stuff, China stuff, and FDA mucking around stuff. So biotechs, stuff like that. There's other patterns that I don't like. Dumpster fires. You got SPACs. You got dumpster fires. I said dumpster fire twice. You got just crazy stuff, bubble patterns. So there's some stuff, but they do tend to at least kind of follow the patterns a little bit. Anyway, AA. Yeah, nice pop. Gonna have to clear the chart. So what do we got cooking? We've got resistance cooking right here on Alcoa. And that initial move up, that retrace. And we're sitting right at the resistance at 44 here. Next resistance up right at that zone where we topped out once, twice, 3 times, 4 times really. So right there at 51-ish, 52-ish would be the next resistance up. But we're sitting right there at a resistance now. A consolidation and then a final pop up here would be kind of what I expect before a deeper retrace. Maybe hold the roadmap line again and then go higher. Quite possible. And nice, the chat jumped around. Cool. MHO. If you're going to ask a question, make sure you ask the whole question. Don't be like, you missed my question. Just tell me the whole question. I'll do my best to stop and answer. But don't assume I know where your question was. All right. And MHO possibly bouncing. We did not break above this. We're still in that orange rejection zone. If we can break out 147, 146, 147-ish. If we reject, probably going down in a blaze of glory. And that high, that low, that high could take us down here to 100. Right in this zone. So that's the long and the short of it right there. The long being up here and the short being back down here. All right. DOCU. Yeah. It's almost the same freaking pattern. Jeez. Cheese and crackers. So long 69 and the short. Ugh, all the way back down. 48. And WM. Waste management looks like it wants to roll back down to the roadmap line. It's consolidating. Can we get the roll? It's been a long time. Like, it's been since October since we've been down there. Came up a long way. We went from 161 up to 208. Would not surprise me to get a little retrace there. It's only 7% or so. Put us right back down in there. And I IP. Possible to go higher here. Met that resistance right there. Got this bigger resistance up here. And there you go. Not a lot cooking there. Mara sitting there. The bounce trigger, if you will, above 2680. Sets us up for 37, 39. You may be like, well, why would I feel so good about that? 75% of the time when we trigger it, I don't know if that'll trigger or not, but 75% of the time when we trigger it, it goes. And look at the profit factor. It's ridiculous. For the 75%, the 75 out of 100, it's actually only done 4 of those. But, for the 3 that it did, they were 11 times bigger on average than the one loser. So, 4 is not a statistical population, but that looks pretty spicy to me. Anyway, I'd be willing to take a shot at that. I am long Mora, by the way. Avalanche, AVAX, USD. And just farting around here. Not really getting going. Has further downside targets. And upside resistance is way the heck up here at 51. So, nothing clear at the moment on Avalanche. AMD is very similar. Not really. It's got resistance way up here at 195. And we're just kind of messing around here at this prior resistance right here. Not really able to break through. Just sitting there. Just sitting there looking nasty. It may roll over and go lower. 85 to 110 area would be support down there on AMD. NFE, I'm like, well, how long is it going to take? It could take a while for it to get down there when it's in a correction. Most stuff spends 75% of its time in some sort of correction, and only like 10 to 25% of the time actually trending. So you got to watch out. Like, most stuff out there just consolidating. This is one of them. Just choppy sideways garbage. Pushing lower. Might even go lower low than this. In fact, that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It needs a lower low. Really looks like 5 down. And let's see what 5 down would be off of this high. Yeah, put it right down in here would be the target. 5th wave move right there. Leave my nose itching. That's NFE for you. And EXPE. EXPE. That's below support and sets the stage for a further drop down in here as a potential. Watch out for that. And S-Bucks has really mucked up the pattern all the way back down. All the way back down. So this has kind of set up where it's likely to go down here. It broke through all the support. If it's going to save it now, it's a really deep correction. But, kind of the odds are we're going on down because we broke down, consolidating down here. We can easily drop further. This is just in a nasty correction for a while, and upside resistance is at the roadmap line up there at 90 before we can get any kind of upside anything. So we've got that resistance, and there's the support. That's the long and the short of it. Like, if you're going long, you got that right there to break through, and short is down there till we get to support. So COR, that's one that just kind of failed. It looked good and then it failed. Sometimes they do that. Now if core can hold up here, break back above that gap down. Gap downs are resistance. Got to break it back up through that gap. 238, maybe 251, 255 area right up in there would be the target. If we do it, otherwise, well, looks like we might not find support till way on down here. And it could be a lot further down too. Holy moly. Holy guacamole. Yeah, that could yeah, support could be all the way down here at 140. That would kind of suck. That one hadn't touched the roadmap line in, gosh, since 2020. Well, that's a 3-day. On the 1 day, I guess it bounced here. So if it doesn't hold, watch out. That could go deeper. Definitely go deeper. And MO, Altria. How do you say that? And we got resistance there. We've got support at the lows, and it's just a choppy, overlapping hot mess of garbage. I would not trade that chart. Not right now. It's not for me. I don't like this. This is too unclear. There's no, like, this was all overlapping on the way up, and this is all overlapping on the way down, and that's just all part of a bigger correction, and it's just been going sideways for, I mean, look at that. That price has gone nowhere for like 5 years. Why do you want to mess with that? What says now is the opportunity on MO? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So be careful. WH. Another choppy pile of garbage. Look at this. Look at this. 3 years, just nothing. 3 years of doing nothing. A stock at rest continues to be at rest. A body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest stays at rest. You know, anybody remember that? You've heard that physics principle before? Sir Isaac Newton, maybe. And when they're choppy sideways, they tend to keep being choppy sideways until something happens. And I don't see anything happening there. So, ARM still on the way down. Got the first little piece of a roadmap line. There's not enough chart here for me to really do any kind of long-term analysis. But I do expect this to fill the gap back down here eventually. That's resistance right up there at 134. That's support right down here at the gap fill. Down here at 73. And we're just messing around. That's ARM. Nothing changed. Nothing's changed for weeks. UEC, some another choppiness right here at the top, popped up, and haven't touched the roadmap line. Just been consolidating. Oh, it did right there. One little candle right there. One little candle. I see ya. I see ya. But that's also less than $10, so be careful. That doesn't mean it will or won't do anything. It's less likely to follow the patterns than it is to just do something crazy. The only thing that doesn't really apply to is crypto, because crypto, the prices are almost arbitrary. So, and MU, higher prices. My target is up here, 130 to 160. Upside target. That's where it's basically a echo of that move. Right off of this low, puts us up in that zone right there. And already did more. Use the slider down below. You can go back and find it. And PBR is on a retrace. There's support down here. Watch out for that. That's a lower high. We've now established a downtrend. Broke below the roadmap line. That can go deeper. Support there at 12. That's borderline low price stuff right there. And MCD is sitting on support. If we break support, next support down here. And if we can get above the roadmap line at 280, excuse me, 280. We could be looking for something more bullish, 330, but right now that's the resistance right there, and that's support way down here. Just hanging at this, if we get below 260, it's probably game on for going lower. And Wells Fargo, my least favorite bank, but nice strong move up. Breaking higher than we were in 2022 before the banking breakout. That's a pretty significant level, though. Look at that right there. Look at that. Right in that zone where we rejected, cruised up through, rejected. So right there. Can we break above that? Right there at 66, or are we going to reject it again? That is the question. I don't have a firm answer. So that low, that high, that low. If we got above it, push it, potential to push it up to 91 area right up in here. But we got to get on the above side of that prior high right there. Big time frame chart. All right. That's Wells Fargo for you. CMG is splitting in July. Or June, I mean. Splitting in June. Next month. About a month away. A month and 5 days. So that's coming up. It might kind of... A lot of times splits can be bearish. So be careful on that one. It depends. They're pretty excited and announced a split way ahead. There's a split pattern. There's like 4 different split patterns, and I'm not keen on them anymore. I used to know them. Used to try and play them, but you got to keep track of like how many days to, where's the X day, where's the div day, where's the this, that, and the other, and then the performance relative to the split. But lately, we've been seeing a lot of these things that split take a little rest after they do the split. So I would be cautious here that we may experience some slowdown after that split. This is a 50 for 1 too, so we're gonna divide this share price by 50 right here. Be a pretty substantial. We're gonna go down to like the $60 area. Pretty substantial split. That's almost like a, usually we see these 1 for 50 reverse splits, just complete dumpster fires. This is like the complete opposite. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's freeing up a bunch of cash or anything. So, I mean, look at this. This thing's 87 billion. So it's not like, even though the share price is some ridiculous share price, it's not like an Apple or Amazon or Netflix or any, I say Netflix, Apple's, Amazon, Google. It's not like one of those, multi-trillion-dollar companies, NVDA. So back to share price, the prices are just made up. They don't matter. All right. But stuff under $10 doesn't tend to follow my plan. So anyway, Citigroup, nice pop today. That fired off on one of my setups and made a few bucks and got out right before the close. Can it sustain the push higher above this bigger resistance level, 618? Maybe. That's really close, but for me personally, I would want to see it close above that prior high right there. That last little pop we did before we dropped, because there's going to be bag holders there. There's going to be bag holders right up here too. People that got stuck in this thing and been sitting there for 3 freaking years waiting to get their money back. So watch out. That could reject, come back to the roadmap line before it can push on up higher. 91 if we can get up through that zone though. Not too bad at all. And XOM. Consolidating high. The target, I mean, this is activated the target. The target's right up here, like 125-ish. That would be where I would expect. And then 136 or 135, 133, 135-ish above that. But odds are we're going to, like this is like 70% likely. This is only like 35% likely from where we are now. So it can easily roll from here and come back down, because a vast majority of the time we stop right in the vicinity of this one. That's why I focus so much on the 1272 and not talk about the 1618 that much. While it's possible, it becomes like only like 35% likely. So the odds kind of flip around from being 70% likely for something to happen to only like 30% likely. 70% likely we're going to retrace. Alrighty. And FAS. That one looks like it's set to come right on up into this 116 area right up here. Didn't do it wasn't a daily bounce. So something in the smaller time frame. Looks like the 4 hour right there. Draw the fib line. With the extra fib line target, 115 would be, that zone right in there. Would be where I would expect it to go. Right in there. Pop up there, hit some resistance. It is leverage though. Be careful on leverage. Does not always follow the pattern. And JPM. Well, that hit the target and rejected back down. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. That was the target. That was it. And there's support. If we go down there, that's support at this point. Delete, delete, delete. Delete, delete, delete. Come on. There we go. So we did the bounce off the 4 hour roadmap line right up to the target. And we've already pushed back down into the highs. So is it saving that gap zone? There's this like little flip point right there. We're above it, jump down below it, popped up to it, bust up through it, come back down to it. So it's a little flip point type thing in the chart. If we break down below it, probably coming down here at least, if not going lower, but above it, we could possibly push out to the 213 area. I don't know. It's starting to be quite a while since we were down here back in October. Go to 6, 7, and working on 7 months of up. These things don't go up forever before they get a retrace. I mean, even when we have nice, big, strong up moves, eventually we come back down. And next up is GS. Goldman Sachs. Yeah, right up there in the target zone. 1618 475, which we're right in the vicinity of. I would watch for a retrace. These things have a tendency to get played out, and we're right at the played out zone. Right in there. Run a little bit cleaner fib line here. Yep. 517 possible. But I'd watch out for the roll. And let's see. I bumped the list all the way up. Good grief. Baidu is stuck at the resistance. Rejected it off a little bit. Talked about that this morning. Bounced up through, right back down to this trend line. This is downtrend line of highs. Nothing. Not clear. Nothing at all. A, B, and B. Airbnb right down to the resistance. Breaking down today. This is indicative that we're going lower. Just clear it all off. Got that low. Yeah, we could definitely roll on down further. Put it the right way here. Support is right down around here. Dadgummit. Right down there. Alrighty. HLF. Herbalife is under the roadmap line. That is resistance. And that was a 3-wave move up and might be indicating that we're going on further down, which would be down here. And CCL is just choppy sideways garbage. Not really going anywhere for years. And years and years and years. Holy moly. That's gone nowhere since COVID. Nowhere at all. It's taking a trip up and right back down. This is not interesting to me to trade. Apple, I got spooked last week, but odds are we're going on up, and the target is up here at 210 area. 207, 210. Right up there. And AI. Well. What do we have here? That looks like it wants to go on a deeper retrace right there. Right back down here. Be careful on the AI stuff. UPS is stuck in this watermelon seed squeeze, triangle bull crap thing. I wouldn't trade it. Can break out, it can break down, and it came into it down, so it may continue down. It's kind of this move down can be continued on down. Now, typically we only get a move that's equal to the size of the thing. So that first move right there. So either down to 114 or possibly up to 183. It's the most unreliable pattern I know of out there. So I'd say MGM. It's my least favorite pattern. It's like a complete coin flip. So MGM, if we can break above that 618 level, possibly put us up to 50 up there. And if this is an echo, it could put us up to 54. Not huge numbers, but could work out in a fair way. LRCX, Lam Research, Industrial Machinery, well, didn't bounce off the roadmap line, so just consolidating high. Unclear at the moment, possibly working on a move back on up to 140, 130, 140. But could also be working on a rollover and continuation. That move down could be echoed right off of here. It could put us back in the roadmap line vicinity. Quite possibly. That's some big numbers there. 130 on the upside, potential 825 on the downside. And be careful. Hood has been attempting to break out of this and go higher. Get back up to some levels where we were before. Can we do it? We did it before. Can we do it again? I've been stuck in this thing since up here, right up here. So I'm looking for this to come back up here eventually. Stuck in some shares, selling some calls along the way. But it's going to take a while. That's going to take a while. So we've got this resistance zone in here. Now, why do I say it's a resistance zone? Because it did this watermelon seed squeezy thing right here. You see it right there? Same one. That one, we didn't have much lower to go to 0. So breaking above puts us right up to that level. That's where the resistance is. If we get above it, we can push on higher. But that's the resistance zone for that watermelon seed squeezy thing we did back here, where it's like that declining lower highs, higher lows, and then we popped out, back tested it, even at a lower level than we were here, and then took off. And that'll be the resistance right up in there. On Hood, Amazon is sitting at the resistance, having a really hard time breaking higher. Really, really hard time. Inflation adjusted, it's still not a higher high. If it can go up there at 230, but right now it's just not doing it. Major resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It might roll back down. I'm cautious right now. If you can't tell, like, lots of stuff has me like concerned about what's going on. PANW got slammed a little bit on earnings, but ended up with a green candle on the day, gap down and retracing a little bit, fill the gap. If we can hold that back test of that breakout, that low, that high, that lower high, kind of extending it on down. That's not a lot. You know, trend lines are like the least reliable thing out there, but you know, it is at least interesting that we see this pattern a lot where we get a trend line, we break it, back test it, and then go. And right now, we back tested it. If we can break above this gap down resistance right here, and this little consolidation right in the cream puff middle, we break above that. Highly likely we're going on up here to 410. That's PANW4. Sony looks like crap. Nowhere for years and years, and kind of making lower, just a tighter consolidation here. Just really doesn't look like it's doing anything here. All the way back. Been just chopping for 4 years. Chop a little higher, chop a little lower, just chopping. We're almost right in the middle of that for 4 years. Is there a potential to go up higher? Sure, but it's not doing it. It's not breaking above the resistance here. So just not optimistic right now on Sony. And TSLA has gotten super boring. Just consolidating under the roadmap line here. Just keeps consolidating. It keeps consolidating. And nice close, but it's just been super boring. I have like 5 shares at 180. I guess they were green today at the close. Just keeps consolidating. I kind of expected a dip down in this 160 area. I still kind of expect that. Because when you look at this move right there, we're hitting the 618 right there, which can result in a deeper retrace right down here. First move down, right like that. Right off of there, puts it right there at that 160 area. Watch out. If NVIDIA burns this down tomorrow, watch out for that right there. And I'm off my leverage longs on Tesla. I just have the few shares and that's it. Zillow Group is just consolidating at the lows here. Sitting right on that 618. It dipped down to the 786, popped back up. Did not touch the roadmap line. This is bearish at this point. It's a bearish pattern. Bearish continuation would be down to 29. And ZG is the other ticker for Zillow Group and has basically the same pattern. And WFRD, Weatherford, just consolidating high. There's no target, just a warning that we might retrace. That's kind of losing steam as we go higher. Just be careful. Kind of run out of airspeed. Could use a retrace. And AMD already did. BX is sitting there consolidating. Not very clear. There's a few things out there that are pretty nice looking, but most stuff's pretty unclear. This has been consolidating for a while. 1, 2, 3 to a lower low, barely. And potential entry for 136 on the upside, but that's not a huge upside potential. Only $10 versus if we broke down, we could go down significantly. Yeah, significantly is down here to $91. Right down in here. There's your downside. There's your upside. Upside very small compared to the potential downside. And ASML. Had a trade on that one closed out. Resistance right there. Support right there. Not a huge. Not much to talk about. I mean, resistance at 972. Support down at 835. Big fat zone, but and we're up near the upper end of that, but that's a pretty major resistance there. Watch for the turn down and the drop deeper. And next up, Uber is sitting on support right there. 54 on the downside and resistance at 75 on the upside. So there's your resistance. And there's your supports. Do we pop? Do we drop? If we can get above that resistance, 87, which is still not very huge on the upside. And NEM Barely a higher target there. Market's open again. Futures are going. So resistance in the short term, right up here at 46, and support down here at the roadmap line at 38. So we got going on NEM. And AA is it a buy? That's up to you. I'm not telling you to buy or sell. This is not a recommendation to do anything. This is overlapping on the downside. Looks like it may be a corrective initial move. We may experience a retrace back to this price right there and further decline right there. That would be the impression I got off of this. It would probably echo right. Yep, almost perfect. Almost perfect. So I'd watch for resistance right there. And support down here. AMAT kind of hit the upside target at 219. Don't really have much else. Possibly 223, possibly 235. Roadmap line is support. And QTRX. A lot of these haven't changed much. QTRX failed to go higher. Rejected. Going higher and broke down. This is why I get concerned about when they form a whole bunch of resistance. Because they can go deeper. How much deeper could this one go? That low. That high. Ooh, it's almost there. 1150. Right in there is the support. If we do that, possibly much higher target way up here. Reasonable, but that's med tech for you. Be careful. Don't always follow pattern. FDA and all. And NVDA. Watch out for the biotech stuff. Another pharmaceutical. I just despise these, actually. Like, they just don't. They'll just up and not follow the pattern. Like, just completely go off the rails. This right here is a very overlappy. Look at that. This nasty, gnarly, choppy overlap channel. It just makes it really hard to project anything off of that. And lately it's been a little tighter. So top down, pop down. Look, I would expect down next, but it didn't actually touch the top there. So is it tightening up? That's indicative of price action you see before we roll. So I'd be careful on that one. But it is biotech related, so pharmaceutical. Be careful. And TSM. Upside target right up here at 167, possibly 200 above that. And support down here at 124, 123, 120, 125. And should have bought October IWM. Yeah, should have, could have, would have, but now we're not there anymore. DVN, retracing, support. I would expect that to touch, but it may not. If we can get the bounce, break back above 52, looking for 56, but we could retrace deeper because that doesn't have any sub moves to it. So support is right in that zone right there. We did tag the downside target. Potential reversal here. Nice swift move up, retrace, and then we keep going. And coin. Expecting this to come back to the roadmap line. It's got resistance up here between 280 and 350. Major resistance. And support down here at 160, 175-ish, basically. 170, 175-ish. And GE. May come back down to the roadmap line. Kind of bounce off of that. That's where we topped years and years ago. Almost, gosh, it's going to be a long time ago. 15 years ago. Topped out right in there. And rejecting off it again, and roadmap line would be where I would expect it to retrace to on GE. And shot, safety shot, looks like it's going on down. It's less than $1, or it's in the dollar area. Low price stuff don't always work, but it's in the potential area for a reversal. And snow. Probably going down, down here. Does have earnings coming up this week. Upside 196, downside support below 110. I just want it to, this is such a corrective, nasty, choppy pattern. I just want it to dip right down in there. I'll buy a long-term position. I'll be hunting for a long-term position unless they're looking like they're going out of business or something. Meta. Bounced off the roadmap line. Oh, this is not good. That moved down. That right there held resistance right there. Echo of the first move down. Right there. Takes it down to there. So watch out for that 373. Drop right there. Could extend 350, even 322. Watch out. That's indicative that something's going on. Just saying. Just saying. PCG. Wow. What a move. What a move. So that move up. That retrace. That low right there. Probably going up to this $19 to $20 area right there. That's utilities moving like everything else. It's almost like FOMO move right there. Once that plays out, though, ooh, man. Gosh, be careful. That's a warning. If we pop up into there, we can come back down to $9 pretty quickly. Let's watch out for that. And whoa, I just skipped a bunch of the chain. COPX, copper, global X copper miners. Right there. And we're right at the resistance 55, possibly 68. And MSI, Motorola. Well, kind of wild they're still in business. 433. BA. Working on turning the bottom. Got resistance right there at roadmap line. Resistance to get through right in there. We get through it. Game on for going higher. Much higher targets, somewhere up in this vicinity, 500-600. But it all starts with a small reversal that's got to develop into a bigger reversal. We came down right within a couple bucks of where I drew this arrow back in December. Gosh, man, so freaking close. I had 157, that was 159, and it was like $2. Jeez, you know? I drew this arrow before any doors flew off or anything like that. You can ask Goose if you want to know. I mean, it's been on the chart. For those who've been around, I got dang close. We'll see if the next one develops. All right. Land. Yeah, that's bearish. Underneath the roadmap line. Line of resistance. Nothing so far. I certainly wouldn't touch that with my money. Holy moly. Holy guacamole. Already did ARM, DNN, DNN. Not much to tell. That high, that low. Possible resistance at 2 and 2 and 2. And it's so low priced. Don't got nothing for you. SMR is also low price stuff. Potential to break out and go up to 14-ish, or possibly bounce off that and go down to $1. XME, it's unclear. Like XME potential breaking out here. That was a big squeezy, nasty thing right there. Potential for that to ramp on up to possibly 91, maybe. And PATH, was that ticker? Unipath is bearish underneath the roadmap line, possibly going lower. Watch out. And C trade was great. FSLR potential to go higher. 271. It's working on it. Last resistance to clear for set to probably go up to this 260, 270 area up there. And MSTR, gosh, be careful. For heaven's sakes, be careful. They do not have leveraged Bitcoin. It's playing with fire right here with how far ahead of Bitcoin it is. That retrace, yeah, definitely put it down in here. Back to the roadmap line would be the minimum I would expect. Now, why am I so cautious? Like, I'm warning about this. Look, just we compare this right here. Look at this. There's Bitcoin's performance. There's MSTR. Even going back beginning of the year. Got close back here, but no cigar. Be careful. Bitcoin's not running that much. If we roll back to last summer, it gets... I don't know. I'm concerned. Definitely concerned. We didn't touch the roadmap line. Was it close enough? I don't know. We're in the resistance zone. That one could suddenly drop while Bitcoin pops. It doesn't have to go with Bitcoin. Be careful. Be careful. And yeah, I've heard some people have said, you know, that's going to be one of the biggest companies in the world. But really, when you look at it, it's back to share price. It's only 29 billion, all right? And they've got 214,000 Bitcoins. Even if those doubled or even tripled, that's still not adding significant dollars to their market cap. Not to their real value. And look, you know, basic EPS right there. So what are they going to do? Because most of the value of this company is Bitcoin. What they're going to do when they get far away from Bitcoin's price, dilute more shares, buy more Bitcoin. That's what they're going to do. That, you know, that's what could, you know, Mr. Sayer dying could be one problem that could cause this to drop. Another problem could be that they dilute the shares, so, you know, do a massive offering, sell, got zillions of shares at, you know, $1,600 or $2,000 or whatever, raise a bunch of capital, buy more Bitcoin, go in a vicious cycle again. But that drop could happen while Bitcoin's climbing, so be careful. Be careful. AXP, just grinding higher. It's getting through the secondary target there. Next target up, maybe 280. Maybe, I don't know. I would expect a big retrace before I'll push that high. TTD hit the target. That trade's done. Done. That was it for the current trade. What am I talking about? That one right there. We hit the target. right there. And we're at the longer term resistance for this move. Still sitting there. We topped out back here, topped out right here, topped out right here, topped out right here. It doesn't have a lot of enthusiasm to going higher here yet. If we can pop up, get above this, possibly going up to 124. I wouldn't expect a lot more than that though, unfortunately, at this point. And CCJ. Thought I already covered that, but yeah. There we are, right at the target, 54, 57 above that. And TLT has looked pretty crap and still looks pretty crap. And looks like we may push lower. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Watch out for the flush. And QCOM. That's a breakout, baby. Target right up here, 213, possibly 250. We may do this. Ching, ching, ching. And ABR. Lower highs. Watch out for going lower. Watch out for another one of those. You can see it like 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't expect it to do anything else. And Charlie Victor X-ray is in a downtrend. Goose, I know you like this one, but it looks pretty crap, dude. Looks like it's gonna push lower. Oof. Doesn't look like strength until we break above this consolidation box that we've been in for 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Yeah. KSM USD. And it didn't pull up anything. There it is. Typo. KSM USD is crap. Don't chase stuff like this. Like stuff down here, that especially in crypto. When crypto is rocking and rolling, like this would be one that was more attractive. I mean, look at that. This is launching, right? If you're going to get into crazy, weird, small cryptos, that one's launching. Has potential to go much higher. And we're talking up here at this point. Possibly even way up here. Possibly way, way up here. If it's going to be irrational. That low, that high, the retrace, potential to go right up here. Now, other things like KSM USD, that's in a slow grind towards zero. I just, just be reasonable. That's a crappy chart. I believe it's going to turn around. Cool. The chart doesn't say it's going to turn around. Just be careful. All right? Just be careful. That's all I can offer. And cost has looked pretty crap for a long time. Breaking higher. Was that enough? Look at that. Watermelon seed squeeze. Popped right up. Found resistance. Consolidated for a little bit. Possibly going to push higher. Dun, 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 dun. It's right at resistance. I don't know. Could go up to 835. Could keep rocking, rolling. Could just not follow the patterns at all. Not care, not care at all. I mean, yeah. That one's likely to correct something back out for long. I mean, that's an exponential curve right there. Exponential up. Watch out for the drop. And all right, that's the end of the list. Caught up with everybody. If I said anything that was helpful, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Less than 80 people, so I'm going to drop off of here, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9:15 in the morning Eastern time. I will go live and cover what's moving for the day in the pre-market. We'll see what's popping, what's dropping. Talk more about the things reporting earnings, which didn't drag over. Cool. We've got Target, TJ Maxx, analog devices right there. There's your tickers for the morning, and then after the close tomorrow, after we get that FOMC meeting right in the middle of the day, 2 p.m. Watch out. Should be an interesting couple days here. See what happens.